Hi, and welcome back for another InnoMind talk. I'm here together presenting with Mrs. Mindswitch here in the background, and we're here to tell you about your mindset. So some of the questions that seem to puzzle me is how do we learn and what makes us who we are? Those are fascinating questions and fascinating to actually try and just get some answers to those. But before we can look more into the answers of those questions, I'd like for you to go to this mindsetonline.com and test out your mindset. So pause this video and take the test, and I will be here waiting. Alright, welcome back. So what did the test show? Did it show that you have primarily a fixed mindset, or does it show that you have primarily a growth mindset? It seems to make quite a big difference on the way that you actually learn, whether you have one or the other. So, but before moving ahead, shortly this presentation, like the last one, is divided into 3 sections. That's the what, and a why, and a how. So, what are mindsets? Why are they relevant at all to look into? And how can you enhance your, for instance, growth mindset? So mindset, what is it? It's a belief about our ability, and that affects our decisions related to how we learn. A fixed mindset believes that intelligence is this fixed trait. Either you're a smart person or you're not a smart person. Whereas in a growth mindset, it believes, the person with this mindset believes that intelligence can't actually be trained, that the brain is this growth organ, that the more effort you put into something, the more you'll actually learn, and that if you fail at something, then the only thing to do is just perseverance, right? Just hang in there and just continue and work. Carol Dweck has done quite many studies on the 2 different kinds of mindsets, or where she found out that the result of the 2 different mindsets were quite astonishing. So for instance, in 7th grade, when the kids, they transition to the 7th grade, they begin to struggle as the work gets harder. And in this study, it showed that in the beginning, the kids had been assessed whether they had a fixed or a growth mindset. Also, their achievement scores in the beginning were quite identical. But fixed mindset kids were focused on the grades, whereas the growth mindsets kids were more focused on learning. The result of the study was that in the growth mindset group, the grades seemed to really rise dramatically, and compared to the fixed mindset group kids, right? So those with the growth mindset got actually better grades in the end, even though that wasn't at all their focus. Their focus was primarily on learning. Then another study with these pre-med students. There was also 2 groups of kids, right? One with a fixed mindset and one with a growth mindset. And the fixed mindset students were focused on their abilities to carry them along. As a result, they lost confidence if they did poorly. Right, so growth mindset students were more focused on the learning bit. They saw the material, and as a result, the material was difficult, right? But when they found out that it was actually difficult, they saw it as a challenge, and they worked harder if they did poorly, for instance, on tests. Also, in this group, it turned out that those who had a growth mindset, so that those who actually had a favor of learning, who believed their effort actually made a difference, their grades, they reached higher grades in one of the difficult courses than the fixed mindset students did. So some of the rules of the fixed mindset contra the growth mindset is fixed mindset, right? Look smart at all costs. It should come naturally, or if it doesn't come natural to me, if I have to work hard, then I'm not very smart. Hide mistakes, conceal deficiencies, and setting performance goals, right? Who am I better than? How can this make me look good? Whereas in a growth mindset, so this mindset that just wants to learn. If there's something that's difficult, well, I'll just jump right back on the horse and try again, right? Sort of like Beyonce, at first you don't succeed, you brush yourself off and try again, right? That's sort of that mindset. Work hard, effort is key. And if you make any mistakes, then figure out what are those mistakes and try and see how you can improve. So seeing your mistakes as a road to moving ahead. They tend to set these learning goals instead. So what's the difference between these performance goals and learning goals in terms of the two mindsets? Well, again, the fixed mindset sets these performance goals. They tend to believe that their potential can actually be measured, right? So it's when you have this ruler out and you just sort of measure, how good am I? They aim to receive validation from others, right? A pat on the shoulder and someone saying they actually did great. And if they receive a low mark, that means that they're not smart. That's the belief they have about themselves. Whereas in a growth mindset, they tend to create these learning goals, the goals of mastery and goals of competence, right? Setting goals for actually learning the material, and that has actually shown to increase the performance and also the enjoyment when you actually work with the material, and also to decrease the negative emotion. So scores and marks reflect how people are doing now and do not measure a person's potential. That's the belief of the growth mindset. So before moving it further, please watch this little cartoon, a drawing on YouTube that explains the two different kinds of mindset. I'm here waiting. Alright, welcome back. So, why have a growth mindset? Well, overall, I think my presentation about what gives you some hints as to what's the advantages of a growth mindset, but here we go. So growth mindset is the foundation for learning, and it does indeed shape who we are, looking back into that first question we had on the first slides. Research shows that with effort you can train your brain to get smarter. And how is that? Well, again, pause this video if you don't believe me. Watch this video about your brain and the neuroplasticity of the brain. But before you look into the video, just make sure that you write down the key takeaways from the video and that you answer these questions. What does it teach you about your brain? Do you have any habits that you want to change now that you've actually seen this video? And how can you use this information to help you to sort of change those habits? Alright, see the video? I'm here waiting. Welcome back. So, growth mindset. Growth mindset is that belief in your capacity or capabilities to learn. Having a growth mindset can actually change and improve the way that we learn. So one of the statements of Carol Dweck is that she says, "For decades, I've been studying why some people succeed while people who are equally talented do not. And over the years, I've discovered that people's mindsets play a crucial role in this process." It turns out also that companies seem to look for employees that actually have this growth mindset, who are willing to solve problems and persist even though that there may be obstacles in the way, right? So it turns out that the key to also having success, confidence, happiness is really developing this growth mindset, believing that your abilities are flexible and that you can actually do hard work and then train yourself to become smarter, to do better, to be more successful and to be more happy. Another key point, though, I think, is that you're not just one mindset or the other, right? It's sort of a spectrum. The key is to identify where you're at on the spectrum. Perhaps the test also showed you that you have a fixed mindset. But perhaps now that you look into the knowledge here in the video, you'll see, well, perhaps you are a mixture of both, right? So, but the key is to identify where you are at on the spectrum, and to be skeptical towards, is this a belief and focus that I have, or is this, and what stands against that belief, right? Beliefs can be changed. Focus can be changed. And the way that we act actually come from the different mindsets that we have. So how do you change your mindset? Want to develop a growth mindset? Then again, pause this video, look into this website, and I will be here waiting. Alright, welcome back. So, again, this video shows that you can use more of your brain by building these new, strong pathways, thinking new thoughts, changing some of the old bad habits, if you have any bad habits. I know I have quite a few. So, 3 key steps: intention, visualization, and action. Set goals and get clear about what you want to become successful in. Write down your goals in detail. Visualize. So if you have this goal, visualize how will it be if you actually reach that goal. How will you feel when you achieve it? And action. Make sure that every day you take action towards that goal. Every day you take a small step towards actually reaching that goal. Small or big step. Appreciate feedback, right? If we want to grow, we also have to be open from the criticism of others. See it as something that's useful, something that leads to growth. Embrace it and see it as an opportunity to get even more skills. Use it to learn and appreciate it, right? That's the key with feedback and criticism from others. And don't see it as something, well, that discourages you completely, but see it as something that you can move on the basis of. So here, set learning goals instead of performance goals. So embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as the path to mastery. Learn from the criticism, be open to feedback from people around you. Find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. So if others succeed, don't just sit there and to think, how can I learn from them? What can I do to achieve the same things, if that's what you want? And then also remember to celebrate yourself when you do well, right? Make sure that you pat yourself on the back when you learn a new skill. Ever tried, ever failed? No matter. Try again, fail better. A statement by Samuel Beckett, which I find quite appropriate in this. And just on a personal note, sometimes just say the F word, right? And move along. Saying this can actually relax you and release some of the tension that you have. It's sort of seen as this spiritual practice. So don't say anyone I said that to you, but sometimes just saying, oh, well, who gives a S, right? So don't take yourself too seriously, right? Leave your ego at the door, and if you're lucky, perhaps it won't be there when you get back. It's another statement by an acknowledged professor. So, in summary, what? 2 types of mindset, a growth and a fixed. One that sees challenges as an interesting opportunity to learn, and one that avoids challenges in the fear of failure, right? So you see the 2 different types, a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So why should we have focus on developing a growth mindset? Well, it seems to be the foundation for learning, as well as enhance success, confidence, and our overall happiness. So how can we do it? Embrace challenges. Persist even when you have setbacks, even when there are obstacles in the way. See the effort as the path to mastery. Learn from the criticism and the feedback from others, and find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. Want to know more? A couple of references here for you to look into if you're interested. But that's it for now. See you in the next video.